Welcome everyone to the Big O TV, where you get tips, tools, and resources that help you organize your business for success that feel so good. Today we have with us on the show Miss Kenya Halliburton. Let me tell you a little bit about Kenya, because Kenya is someone that I've recently connected with, and she is so amazingly awesome. I think so, and I know that you're going to think so. So let me tell you about Kenya. Kenya is the mom of 3 bouncing boys and a hands-free content creation and marketing strategist. She specializes in helping women entrepreneurs with big ambitions and complicated lives implement life-friendly marketing systems that free them up to do what they love, live the life they want, and make the money they deserve. More power to you. Thank you so much, Kenya, for being here.
Well, thank you for having me on, Aja.
I am so excited about you being here. Even though I haven't known you for that long, I love your energy. I love everything that you have to say. Every time I connect with you, I learn something new, and I love your Facebook group. It's awesome.
Thank you. I'm glad that you're there, and the feeling is definitely mutual.
Yes. Let me tell you, you posted something, I think it was something about Kirk Franklin one day, and it was just talking about the trials and tribulations and things that you have to go through and all these kinds of things. And you said that it resonated with you, and I'm telling you, it really resonated with me. I needed to hear that day. Yes. It was just like, oh my gosh, I'm going through so much. What am I gonna do?
Yeah,
I saw that. It was just like, oh, okay, well, all right. Well, I can understand that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can understand.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I think we're all living life and we're coming across things and we're doing things to try to encourage ourselves. And I'm learning that it's really important to share something that uplifts you. If it impacts you, it's probably going to impact others. So we can't keep that to ourselves. I think we have a duty to encourage ourselves as well as others. So absolutely.
I feel you on that. I try to tell everyone, my friends, my family, everybody, that just because what it looks like to someone else, it may look like that you're going through things that are just extremely easy for you. People get up in the morning, they put on their makeup and they get on their heels and they go. We don't know what it took for them to do that, so it looks so easy, for them. Oh, well, you've got your hair done every day and you've got makeup and heels on every day. So it's easy for you to go out, but we don't know that they actually struggle just like we do. But because they're not saying anything, how are we supposed to know? So I like to tell people that too. Share your story, because what it is that you go through every day, somebody else might be really needing to hear that exact thing at that very, very moment to help them get through something that they're going through. So thank you for sharing.
Exactly. Anytime.
Yes. Well, let's hop on to the questions that I ask all of my wonderful special guests, because these questions are really designed to help people connect with different solutions that they may be going through. I'm just one person. I cannot talk about every problem. I don't have every problem, but a lot of the people that I bring on they have such a vast variety of challenges and solutions. And I love that being able to share those things with people, they're able to relate to what's going on. So we're going to jump in. And I see that you're trying to get in, Dr. Corey, but you're going to have to wait a little bit, because I really want to hear what Kenya has to say. And I will let you come in a little bit later on if you're still in. So if you can hang on just a couple minutes. All right. So, Miss Kenya, what has been the biggest challenge that you've encountered in your business and why?
I would probably say the biggest challenge for me has been balancing life and business. And really, I think what that ultimately translates to is time. I've had a time challenge, and I think most of us can relate to that. My time challenge has been due to relationship issues in my life, my marriage and complications with that. And trying to really manage that, because you can't run away from your life. Your life is what it is. I always say, like, your life is your business and your business is your life. Like they all go together. And so for me, it was how do I manage all, the sky falling in my life and still pursue my dreams, still pursue the ambitions that I have. That's why a part of what I do is I help, ambitious women with busy and complicated lives, because
Right.
I am her. And, I speak to so many women who, it really always boils down to, in my personal experience, it boils down to life. And because of the life that's happening, whether it's your health, whether it's, children, whether it's complications in your marriage, whether there's some sort of financial issue happening, these things take time. They take your attention. But you also have your business. And for me, I've been doing this since 2007. So it's how I pay my bills. So if my life is blowing up and I can't work, I can't do my business, then I'm not making money, which has caused some challenges. And so I would say, for the most part, life management and time has been the biggest challenge.
Wow.
And
I can definitely agree with you on that one. And I think that I say this on just about every one of my shows, because this is something that it speaks to the heart of what I do as well, is that you really have to take a look at what's going on in your life, your obligations, your commitments, because like you said, they are not going anywhere. These kids still need to be fed, so you have to really look at that and be honest with yourself when you're planning your schedule or thinking about what it is that you can and are able to do. You really have to take those things into consideration. We are not superwomen. I mean, maybe we do have our cape at the cleaners, but sometimes it just doesn't work that well. So you really have to in consideration.
Yeah. And I think the landscape has changed. And I know when I first got online, coming from an employee mindset where I worked for a living for most of my life, and getting into in the entrepreneurial world, I felt like I had to look and present a certain way, a certain picture. Right. Otherwise, people wouldn't do business with me. And so, but it caused a conflict, because it was like, I'm trying to present this pretty image, the shiny pictures, the nice website, all of that. And of course you need that. But it really wasn't in alignment with what was happening behind my life. And so when people would meet me, they would think, we were talking, I think even before we got on, or even just now, you got it together. I see you everywhere online and you're rocking it and you know what you're doing. And I mean, I don't think that it takes away from the fact that we are gifted in what we do, but I knew while they were saying that to me, I had stuff that, would possibly cause an issue, with my ability to execute my business. So, I think now I've gotten to a point where I think it's important, especially if you're playing in the online space and you're doing the coaching, speaking, author type thing, or even a service-based business. The more of you that you bring to the table and the more transparent you are, I think it helps people that you're trying to help recognize that they don't have to live up to some crazy standard that's not even real, and it increases your ability to attract the people that are meant for you and the people that you're meant to serve. And I think it works better. I think, and we talked about this earlier, I think what happens is we get into a space where, Aja's rocking it and she's launching a 6-figure this and you do this and that. And you get into her course and you can't keep up because you got stuff going on. And it creates this guilt and shame in you that makes you feel like, oh, I'm such a loser, I can't keep up, But at the end of the day, you'll find that most people going through the program have issues that knock them off course or they can't keep up for whatever reason. So it's not you. And like you said, you have to look at, what does my life look like and how can I align my strategies and the things that I'm doing to build my business in a way that supports me and supports the things that I have to deal with.
I totally agree with you 110%. So what did you do to overcome your obstacle with this whole balance thing?
Well, it's a work in progress, but one of the main things that I did is I said, you know what? My life is blowing up. I have children to take care of. I'm trying to pay rent, and this keeps interrupting me. So what can I do? And so one of the first things that I did was start looking at strategic planning and automation. Strategic planning in that I'm looking at my marketing and I'm pre-creating my content and I'm pre-creating my campaigns and what it is that I'm launching and doing it as much of it in advance and using automation tools to put those things on autopilot so that, if I get sick, right, if something happens with the kids, right, if something happens with the husband, my marketing is still happening even if I'm not physically there to do it. And so I did that in probably about 2011 for the first time. And I took like a month off and I used that month to pre-create content, to pre-schedule that content. And I pre-scheduled it for the next 90 days. Awesome. And so I was working hard and I stopped. Sometimes we have to we have to stop to start. We have to slow down to speed up. And so I did that. I stopped. I somewhat disappeared. And I did that. And as a result of that, I was able to generate clients and sales in spite of my life blowing up a month later. You know what I mean? Which I wouldn't have been able to do because I wouldn't have been able to have the focus and everything to sit there and do the marketing and do the things, if I had to do it right then and there, So strategic planning automation is, if you're a woman entrepreneur or a man for that matter, who has life stuff creeping up, you got health stuff creeping up, you just got trauma and drama reigning in your life, then strategic planning and automation is really going to be your best.
You have written that to me sounds like the Bible. Seriously, because that is something that I found to be so very true in my life that I actually was a life coach where I was teaching women to reconnect and realign with their true spiritual sense, whatever that is, whatever that looked like to them, and not what somebody else was telling them they were supposed to be doing. And I did that for 4 years. Yeah. And it wasn't until I started this business where I help vendors and business women actually work around their schedule, plan and make a strategic plan for themselves based on what their lives look like, that I really realized that it is so important to have all of that going on with the whole pre-planning and putting this together, and systems and automations is just, oh my gosh, it is beautiful. It is wonderful. I love it. I absolutely love it. I actually, for my blabs, I really don't do that much, so they really don't take that much pre-planning. It's like, who's coming on? Okay, well, great. I've got my little paper here that I, wrote out for my script or whatever, but my questions, but I really don't need it. So I really don't have to do that much for this, but everything else that I do is pretty much pre-planned out because it just makes everything so much easier. And then when I get to something like this, I can be natural and everything because I don't have to really do anything because everything else is done. I don't have anything else to worry about. This is it's the coolest thing ever to be prepared.
Yeah, it's peace of mind. And I have a few friends of mine. We're all systems junkies and automation junkies. Because we've seen the value of it in our lives. But I think the market as a whole, especially when you're talking about the online world, we just want to get in because all of the tools is fast. You can set things up quickly. You can start moving quickly. And we don't stop to take the time to sit down and create the glue. And, it ends up being disastrous as you kind of try to keep it going. And one of the things that I wanted to mention that I noticed about you when you reached out to me to do this with you, I saw you sent me to, a whole document that had all the breakdown of, what to expect. Here's what you can expect. Here's what time you need to be on, yada, yada, yada. Here's what the show is about. And a few years ago, I did a podcast and I did the same thing. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about, because what it does is it helps you, kind of keep you locked into what you're doing, and creates a flow for you. But it also, for the guests, it makes the guests feel like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Right. I know what to expect. I don't have to get blindsided. And it creates a nice flow and rhythm. Like you said, you don't get stressed out. And so something as simple as that, we have to look at, I always say a rule of thumb is, if you do something more than once, it should be systemized. You should be documented. You should, really wrap it up so that, if you're not around, somebody else can take it over. Or if you hire somebody, this is a big one. If you hire somebody, a lot of times we talk about, okay, I want to get help. I'm so stressed out. I need to hire somebody. I need to bring an intern on or whatever. But then you get stressed out because you got to think everything is in your head. And now you got to sit down with somebody and show them the ins and outs of what you've been doing. And if that's why documenting, sitting down once a week and saying, on Fridays, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to, document this system.
Working with this right now, because everything's in your head and there's nothing written down, and it makes it so hard to kind of help with, well, what can I don't know how to support you, because I need for you to get some of that stuff out of your head to help me out to support you. So it's essential. It's like you were talking about the foundations and the fundamentals. It's really about going back to the basics to get everything together so that you can make everything easier for yourself. I found that out several times. You know how there's a song out and it's a guy and he's talking about, I've made a couple of mistakes, which means I've done the same mistake about 100 times. I don't know what, I don't know who thinks it. I don't know what the rest of the words are, but I do know that line because I'm just like, ooh, he's speaking the truth right there. And I've done that so many times. I've made the same mistake so many times because I did not go back to the basics to set all my stuff up. It's like, girl, when you gonna get it? Set your stuff up. Sit down and do some basic stuff. Yeah. So it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. And the best time to start is now. The best time to start is when you start. Because I've worked with people just starting out. I've worked with people who are making millions of dollars. And if even the people who are making millions of dollars, if they haven't set up systems, it's really hard for them to even sustain hiring somebody because they still have to figure, I want you to work on this project, but hold on, because I got to figure out where it is, so you're still bottlenecked, you're still stressed. So it's best to start when you start.
So next question is, give us your best advice for other people who are struggling with the same issue that you have with the whole balance, and anything else you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think when it comes to building your business in a way that it supports your life, I think that first we got to think about that. Your life comes first. And so a lot of times what we try to do is we try to build our businesses and then think, okay, I'm making the money. And then now that I'm making the money, I can get my life together. And it doesn't work that way. You have to build your business around your life, build your business to fit your life. And so what I would say to get started, or people who are challenged, is sit down and look at, like what you said earlier, what is my life? What does my life look like right now? What's practical for me? What are the things that I can do? What are the things that I can't do? You might not be somebody, you might want a Periscope, you might want a blab, like the guru you follow, but you might not have the time or the space to be able to do it you might not be able to be on Periscope all day, every day, so that's okay. What works for you. So look at your life. And then I would say decide whether you want to be an entrepreneur or a business owner. There's a big difference. And this is something that really hit me hard. And this is a perspective that I've had for some years now,
let me get in my
but I
seat
didn't
because
really.
I want to hear this. I got
I didn't really know like what it was, but I've always, because of my training as an online business manager, I've always understood that you need to set your business up so that it can run with or without you. So the difference between entrepreneurial mindset and a business owner's mindset is entrepreneurs typically, you are the engine of your business. If something happens to you, everything goes away. And if you're a business owner, you can step away from your business and it runs like clockwork, and that money keeps coming in and those clients keep coming in, and you can go on vacation and you can play golf and you can do all of these different things because you set up the systems and the automation and the people to support you.
I guess
so
I
that
don't
you
want to
can
be an
have that
entrepreneur
freedom.
then. I guess I want to be a business owner. Because I always say, or I found this one quote and I've been saying it ever since. I want my business and my life to be lived as though I never need to have to take a vacation. That's what I want to feel like. So, and I started to make organizers and planners and everything because I got away from coaching because as an entrepreneur, being a coach, I am my business. Not coaching, the business is not run without me coaching. I didn't want to do that anymore. So I stepped away from that and decided I want to be able to be on a beach somewhere and with my feet up and push a button and say, oh, okay, that's how much money I have in my account. Or just, to just sit there and just make up products and things like that because I didn't want to be tied to having to talk to someone on the phone or things like that. So I love that. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, and you can see this whole concept was really brought to life for me by Robert Kiyosaki. I was reading his, I think it's called, I forgot, it's the quadrant, something quadrant. And, but people can Google them, they'll find it. But I think you're right. It really is important to understand, what do you want? This is something that I always ask my clients when I work with. What is it that you want? What do you want your life to look like? And let's start there and let's start crafting and choosing a strategy. Because even if you want to be a coach and you still have that goal, you can do that. But then you would have to think, okay, so what is the way that I can set my life up like this, doing this coaching thing? The thing to understand about being a business owner is that typically, and based on what Robert Kiyosaki teaches, is you're looking at anywhere from 2.5 to 3 years of getting things set up. So that it can happen. Now ultimately you have to know going into it that it's going to take time to set the systems up, to get things. So you're going to have to invest that time. You're going to have to commit to that time up front. But once you do it, it runs smoothly, So they have, and so they have, for coaches, you can do like a train the trainer model where you build up how your formula for coaching people and getting a particular result. And then you train other coaches to do the same. And so then that way it's almost to me like a franchise model, right? Create somebody created one McDonald's and they got that profitable, and they created the blueprint so that somebody else will say, oh, you know what? I want to open up a McDonald's. Okay, here's the blueprint. You go open up that McDonald's, right? So it's the same thing with our businesses. Do you want to sell your business one day? If you have the systems in place, you have the option to do that. You can say, you know what? I'm tired of doing this. I want to go paint. I like painting. So I'm going to go pursue my lifelong dream of painting on the beach, and you can do that. You can say, somebody buy this business. This business is generating whatever it is, $20,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $10,000 a month. What would you buy it? Would you buy it from me? You can only do that if you've kind of set things up to end up at that place, your exit strategy, if you would.
Totally agree. I didn't even realize it. I'm sure that a lot of people know who Danielle Laporte is. Is it Laporte or is it Laporte? I didn't even realize it's Laporte.
Laporte.
I think it's Laporte. That her desire map, actually, I didn't even realize that people were actually being certified to actually teach that method in their coaching and everything. So she kind of franchised her stuff out, that was really, really cool. And somebody else did that with archetypes, like with your archetypes and huh?
I think it was Kendall Summerhawk, or either Kendall Summerhawk
I'm not
got it
sure
from somebody. I don't know, but
or if somebody got it from her, but I thought the original person was somebody else, but it might have been Kendall. I have no idea. But then, that's another one that people are actually being certified to actually teach that and stuff like that. So, so there's your educational background, Ruben Vado. If you didn't understand that some people do actually franchise their stuff out, with that, I hope that answers your question. Anyway, so here's the question. I know.
I didn't even see.
You know what? To be honest with you, I've never had a troll ever. So this is fun. Thanks, troll. Thank you. Okay, so if you could go back to you at the start of your business, what would you say to yourself?
What I would say is trust. I would tell myself to trust myself. When I first started out, I was, green and I was doing a lot of things without knowing the rules, without knowing that I shouldn't do it this way or you had to do it this way. And I don't know what's going on with Ruben VA.
I'm sorry, Ruben. See, you just messing up some stuff. I don't even know how to. Let me see what I can do. I know.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not sure what the confusion is about what we're talking about, but these are proven business models that work for people. And so sometimes here's the truth, Ruben. Sometimes
I think I kicked him out.
Okay. Because, at the end of the day, and we'll just say this for everybody, at the end of the day, everything ain't for everybody to understand, right? And sometimes it takes time for you to understand. So it depends on, where you are in your journey. And, it's funny because trust yourself, right, is what my advice would be for myself. But years ago, I was really green and squirrely and scary and wanted everybody to like me. And I knew that I had been delivered from that spirit of people pleasing when I went to a friend of mine asked me to do a session with her, and the people that she brought to the session weren't necessarily my ideal clients. And it was like a room full of like men, because my primary audience is women. And so these were men who had, successful businesses, and they were like, whatever they did. And I was talking, and one of them did like, Ruben, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, well, maybe it doesn't make sense to you, and I knew that I had arrived because I knew I was like, well, that's not my target audience. So it doesn't matter whether it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But so what I would say is, getting back to your question, is I would tell myself to trust myself, and I would tell all of us to trust ourselves, because there's a lot of information and there are a lot of people out here on these different stages, and nobody knows better than you what it takes to be successful for you. And so we have to trust ourselves and not really look outside of ourselves for answers that
I was just having that conversation with my niece just last night. Girl, we were having that conversation. She's over here. Yes, we were just having that conversation about trusting ourselves last night. Just last night. Wow. Yeah.
Confirmation. But it's important because it gets you into trouble when you don't. You figure, oh, well, because what would happen with me is I would have these great ideas. And as I got more educated and as I attended more trainings, I stopped trusting my voice. And I thought, okay, well, I would have did it that way, but they're saying to do it this way. And they're making millions. So let me do it their way. And before you know it, you're like, what the heck am I doing? Like, this ain't even me. So,
I'm sorry. This is so hilarious to me because that is something that I have been going through for the last, maybe I say about 8 months. And it's just like, I'm a person, I like change. And then, of course, you're not supposed to change because
Yeah.
you're supposed to have some kind of consistency and all of that stuff. And then I was on another blab where people were talking about, well, maybe you could just be consistently and change, just consistently being yourself of who you are, just you can be consistent with being that. And I like different things. I mean, yes, I know that working on my website every 3 or 4 months is probably a waste of my time, but that's fun to me, so, and I want to have some fun if that's what my fun is. And maybe some people's fun is working in the garden. Some people like to go shopping. I like to redo my website, which I'm in the process of doing right now. So if anyone goes there, it's going to be jacked up right now, but,
Well, what's important about that, for me, because I'm similar, and I think my issue is I'm a perfectionist, so I'm always changing something and changing my mind and wanting to do things better or whatever. So you got to put that in check. But I think that positioning is probably even more powerful than consistency. Now, and the only reason I say that is because the more clear you are, like I set my site up to be evergreen, again, because I know what my life is right now. And until I get my life situation to a point where maybe I can commit to something where I can do something live every day or every week or whatever, until my life looks like that, right, I'm not going to commit to that. So I set my site up to be evergreen. And funny story, I didn't do the consistency thing. I just, whenever I feel like I can batch produce some stuff, I get it up. It's evergreen. There's no dates on it, but it's still relevant information. And so I, put a lot, and people were telling me the same thing, can you, stop playing it. The site is good enough, do whatever. And so I was like, okay, yeah, but I'm going to still do this. And so it turned out like, long story short, I won't get into all the details, but I ended up getting a very, high paying client because she came across my website and she said, wow, I like how you got this set up. I need you to help me. And it was only because I had positioned my site to look and feel and function a certain way. And when I had the consult with her, I didn't even have to sell. Like, she was already sold because I had positioned.
Right.
I had positioned myself.
I like that.
So, yeah, I mean, consistency is important. I won't say that it's not. It's important to be consistent. But for whatever reason, if you can't, shoot for positioning, shoot for high quality, shoot for being clear, making sure that the people that you're serving, when they come to wherever it is that you are, your Facebook page, your website, whatever, that they're getting high quality content that makes them say, you know what, I'm going to follow her, or you know what, I need to talk to her, or you know what, aim for that. Consistency, sometimes you just can't be.
Yeah, consistent. You can be consistently inconsistent.
Yeah. And you have a right, like Wendy Williams, I always quote her, like her or love her, but she always says, I'm a woman and I have the right to change my mind. So we all have the right to change our mind. And sometimes changing your mind is what you need to do to really kind of catapult you to that next level.
And also too, I think that changing your mind sometimes it also is in connection with figuring out who you really are. And that's how it comes at different levels, at different times and different stages of your entrepreneurship, and everything it's going to change, So when I first started this particular business, which was just back in December, this one in particular, when I stopped my spiritual coaching business in November, and I started this one officially in December. She Changes the World was officially, that's what, you probably don't see that up there. It's a little green sticker up there. It says, she was born on December 15th. You can't read it, but it's on my window. But then I started to pivot, and I decided I wanted to help women who were really limited in time with their time, to really use their time as their secret weapon to having the business and the life that they wanted, because that's what I was going through in my life. It was so
Yeah.
chaotic. And I know Chris, I talked about that with her and everything, because around the time Chris was on my show, I had just finished going through a whole bunch of chaos, and I was just like, I was just ready to cry. And so that's when I
Yeah.
decided, well, I'm going to show some people how to do this. Yes. Yeah, Chris, you remember. And but then in my mastermind group, here we go. We were talking when we go to talk about trusting yourselves and listening to other people. They said, well, you know what? We really think that you need to get back into helping your vendors, because I've got like over 20 years of vending experience and all this kind of stuff, which is great. I really wanted to kind of do both a little bit, but I know for what I teach is do one thing, focus on one thing, and then you can bring in the other stuff. So I wasn't even following my own teachings, so so I decided, okay, well, fine, I'll give the vendor thing a shot, even though that's not what I really wanted to do. I really wanted to focus on that little bit of people who were really, really time constricted. And but as I started to get more and more into working with vendors and talking to them, and I know what their needs are. So then I really, really started to figure, oh my gosh, this is kind of fun. I can do this. I can bring in the other people a little bit later on. I can still develop those programs and those workbooks and courses and everything for them. But let me go ahead and focus on my vendors first, because it's what I know. And I actually started to really, really like it. So I really didn't want to take their advice. But as I started to really lean into it, it is something that I can do, but I still really, really want to work with the other people too, the other niche. And that's really, really dear to my heart right now. So I have to really say that with listening to myself, it kind of started me on the road to redoing my website. Actually, I really wanted to redo my website months and months ago. And I'm like, I'll hold off. No, don't do it. but I decided, no, you know what? I'm going to. This is what I want to do. I listen to them people, and I'm listening to my own self, so.
Yeah. You do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. And I don't think it's wrong to listen to people. I think that, like we were saying, you have to make sure that, first of all, you got to make sure, like you said, you know who you are, you know what you want, and you're centered in that. And so when people start giving you information, you're in a better position to filter through it. And you can say, that right there, it sounds good, but based on what I've defined as my focus or my goals, not right now, maybe later, or that what you're saying, I'm not feeling that. I don't think I want to go in that direction. And so you can, first of all, save a lot of money that way, because save a lot of money, time, headache, stress, regret, all of that. Because I think we really, somebody told me one time, a friend of mine, and I didn't get it at the time. I was telling her, I was trying to do all this stuff. And she said, Kenya, everything that you need to be successful, you already have it. And I was like, I thought, that sounds nice, but what the heck does that even mean? What does that even mean? I don't have it, But as I went through some things, and as I started having different experiences in my life and business, I realized that I did have it. I knew who I was. I knew what I wanted. If I would just sit and take the time to listen, then I could say, you know what? I know what success looks like for me, and your success, the way that you go about it is great too. And my path is great too. And we don't have to lock people into, you got to do it this way, or somehow you're not serious. You got to do it this way, or somehow you're not, whatever. Like, just it's so important for us to really get centered and listen to ourselves.
Let's listen. Let's see what Mr. here has to say. Come on, Corey. You've been so patient.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Corey, how are you? Hi. Dr. Corey, what's on your mind? What do you have to say to add to this conversation?
Well, my wife is my businesswoman. So, I just, she's my lioness. She just goes and hunts and, likes to bring me the dough and for me to invest it and all of that kind of stuff. So, Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, she loves it. But for me, I'm going on auditions and I'm talking to publishers and movie makers and script writers and event organizers and speakers and uh, these tour guides and travel agents. But I like to, what I'm looking for is that $1 million contract.
I
We're all
heard
looking
that.
for that.
So are you an actor?
Well, I have created this Dreams Come True coaching university and frequency-based phenomenon that I've been researching for a number of years, and now I put it out, and it's called basically frequency evaluation coaching.
Okay.
So along those lines, my tuition to my university, basically, which is frequency based, people basically get my products that I handpicked from this network marketing that I do as well with my wife. It's all nutritional products that people get to nourish themselves. And then along those lines, there is Nourish the Children that feeds all the malnourished kids around the world. And then I require people to be an inspiration as well to 10 other souls in their life, or mutually for those 10 people to be inspiration to them.
Cool. We'll put the link in the chat, and so that people can find it, and we'll be able to get the information that you have. It sounds really great.
But my question to Miss Kenya is, I like your name, by the way. I love Kenya.
Thank you. I've never been there. It's a dream of mine to go there
and live there
one day.
The thing is, I want to know, how do we attract with the law of attraction, because you're very attractive? How do we do the law of attraction in order to get our $1 million contract per se?
I don't know much about the law of attraction, because I have a different faith. I don't want to say Christian, but I believe that really it's just setting the intention. What is it that you want, and really that's what law of attraction is. I mean, you set the intention of what you want, and you believe that thing is en route to you, that thing is possible. And you don't worry about how it's going to happen. You just say, you get very clear on the fact that I want this to happen. I want to, have $1 million contract. And you just basically do the things that you know to do. Look at the opportunities that are in front of you and just start moving. And as you move in faith, knowing that this thing that I want is coming towards me, is moving towards me, and I'm moving towards it. That's how it happens. It's kind of like what we talked about earlier. Positioning. You have to be in position to meet that opportunity. So if you're doing the things that, like the $1 million contract, obviously, is not just going to come knock on your door.
I have some auditions.
It may come
in place.
Right. So it sounds like you're doing everything that you need to do to manifest that.
Who are, they have publishing companies, they have radio stations, they have their producers, directors, they have, studios, people like that.
Well, you know what, Dr. Corey, I actually happen to be a certified basic law of attraction practitioner. And what Kenya said is absolutely dead on correct. It's really not just about just putting the intentions in there it's also the feeling of creating that feeling, and that feeling is really what's going to drive you to have that energy and put all that energy out there to attract the opportunities like she was talking about, to be able to put some action behind
what I'm
it.
trying to ask basically in specifics from Miss Kenya, which sounds to me you're very in tune lady, which I respect very much. Because I work with frequency.
Oh.
Your frequency is dead on the third eye chakra. Okay, but the only question is that, is the time important between now and when I come to sign that contract?
You mean in terms of what you should be doing?
I'm gonna, in other words, sign that contract that is minimum $1 million. But my question to you is that does it matter when it happens?
It's going to happen when it's meant to happen.
But does it matter when?
I mean, I don't think, no, because you don't have any control over that, right? I mean, it's going to happen right when it's meant to happen. All you can do is what you know to do in the moment that you have control. And, you know, when that person or that contract is meant to align with where you are, that's when it's going to happen. So you can't really think. I heard somebody say the only thing that you can really be concerned about is now. The only thing that matters is now. What happened yesterday? What's going to happen tomorrow? You know, you can't even.
You know, my whole life is now streaming at all times with these shows. I feel like I'm
really
virtual reality in my own kind of fourth dimension. Like, you know, like I'm doing this and I'm like doing it, and I'm like, I'm my business. So people ask me, you know, okay, in your university, who's the student? I say, you're looking at it. Who's the teacher? You're looking at it. Where is the class? Is in frequency. Where is the university? Is in frequency.
Yeah.
All true. Very true.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it sounds like you're doing everything.
So
you
the
just
contract
focus on the now.
In other words, is in the clouds. I just don't know when I get to sign it.
Can't worry about when.
I just love the energy of it, though. You know.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm enjoying it.
It's moving towards you. Just keep doing.
You know, I enjoy listening to your faith. I mean, it's very enticing. You're welcome.
Thank
you.
All
right, good.
That makes
I'm
me
glad
happy.
I could do that for you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Corey. You have some amazing questions. Thank you so much, Kenya, for answering all of his questions. They were really great, and I'm glad that you were able to get some of your questions answered. Gotten some.
I would do a free evaluation coaching if any of you in the audience or here, you know, all of you want a free confidential frequency evaluation coaching.
Great. Everyone here on the replay, you've heard Dr. Corey. His information is there. Please go ahead and hit him up if you'd like to have that free evaluation. So thank you, Dr. Corey. We're going to get back to the interview for the special guest.
Pleasure. Nice meeting you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Bye-bye. So, Kenya, thank you again. That was some really, really great advice, and he asked some wonderful questions. I appreciate you answering it, not just for him, but for the audience as well, here and on the replay, because that was some good stuff. So, this is my favorite question I love to ask all of my special guests, because this is the kind of person that I am. I'm a quirky person, and I love quirky things. Be quiet over there. My niece is over there agreeing with me.
Sound like she wanted to add to that.
So tell us something that is really, really quirky about you that nobody else knows. Come on, spit it out. Quirky.
what do I quirkiness? I don't know. I think I'm just odd in general. I'm trying to think what I want to share with you. Well, I mean, I probably one of the, and I don't know if it's quirky. I think probably a lot of people do this, but one of the things that people don't know about me is I used to be an aspiring hip hop choreographer and songwriter. I did. In my former life, I thought that I was going to be choreographing for, like, you know, Beyonce.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yes, I used to dance. And so probably you might be, probably the weirdness of it is you might be able to, you know, if you were able to be a fly on the wall, you could catch me doing some moves. some moves, you know, trying to bring back the good old days.
Right. Okay, over there. What is that one dance? Remember what is the pumpkin patch or something? I don't know. What is it when you go like this? Cabbage patch. That's it. I call it the pumpkin patch.
But, you know, I am known to go through my 80s wormhole. 80s and 90s wormhole. So like a couple of weeks ago, I was going through all the like 90s videos and just feeling real nostalgic to the point where I just went into the living room and started doing, I was like, hey, to my little boys, I was like, you guys don't know about the Running Man. Hey, let's do the Running Man. This is how you do the Running Man. And then this is how you do the Roger Rabbit. And this is how you do this. So I was jamming and they were looking at me like, Mom, because I'm usually really reserved. They was looking like, what's going on with her?
You having a haircut.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I like to dance. I love music. You can probably catch me singing badly around here. Yeah, so I guess that's quirky.
Well, I love that. That's one of the coolest quirky things that I've heard so far. I really, really love that. That's really cool. Now's the time. I would love for you to share everything and anything that you have going on in your business that you'd like to share with the people here right now and on the replay of what they can take advantage of, all the goodies that you have going on in your business.
Yeah, so one of the things that I would suggest along the lines of what we were kind of talking about today is if you are somebody who is doing this online thing and you're feeling kind of crazy about it, like you feel like you can't get your arms around it, I would recommend that you go to KenyaHalliburton.com and go to KenyaHalliburton.com, and there's a freebie there, a freebie e-guide. I'm be upgrading it shortly. There'll be kind of like a learning guide that you can get, but there's an e-guide called Content, Clients, and Cash Flow, and it really gives you a bird's eye picture of what this online matrix really looks like and where you should be, how you can compartmentalize your efforts to really be able to build a business, like we said, that can run with or without you. So it's the framework that I think a lot of us really need that isn't really being taught. We get taught the pieces, but we don't get taught how to put those pieces together. So KenyaHalliburton.com. And then the other thing that I would suggest, there's a lot of really cool things that I'm working on rolling out over the summer and throughout the fall. And I'll have to get this link for you. I have it somewhere and I don't know what I did with it. But there is, if you go to, I have an Action Mind group, which you're a part of. And I have to get the link real quick. And it's a Facebook group where we as women come together to support each other. And there's a lot of groups out there. But what we do that's different is every Friday we have what's called an Action Mind. So it's like a mastermind. But what we do there is we help each other get things done in real time. And I'm going to put this link here so you guys can grab it. It's a free group, and Aja, you're there, and you've been amazing in the group. But it's really a space where we can all come together and really support each other. Take off the mask, take off the fluff, and say, "Hey, this is where I am in my business," or "This hit me today in my life," and have a community and a place where we're not always trying to sell each other, but we can we can make connections and we can help each other get to where we want to go. And so there'll be a lot of really cool things I'm going to be doing with the group coming up over the summer. So if you all are women entrepreneurs with big ambitions and complicated lives, and you got stuff you're trying to do and you're trying to figure out how to do it, come on to the group, make some connections, and let's get to where we're trying to go together.
Absolutely. Beautiful, amazing, and epic. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for coming on. And I just want to ask you, I know this is off script. It was not in the welcome packet I sent, but I would love for you to just, just if you could just leave the audience with one last thing that you would really, really like for them to know if they don't take anything else from anything that you've said. Please tell them what it is that you'd like for them to remember.
What I would like for you to take away is don't quit. There's no plan B when it comes to your dream. And so don't quit, no matter what your life looks like, no matter if, Dr. Corey's trying to hit that $1 million contract, whether you have a vision to be a millionaire, whether you want to make $10,000 a month, whether you want to move into that big house doing the thing that you absolutely love. No matter what it looks like right now, don't let your circumstances lie to you. It's possible. It can always happen as long as you don't quit. So pursue plan A, forget plan B. Plan B, I heard Chris Garner, the guy that Will Smith did that movie, Pursuit of Happiness. I heard him talk. He's like, plan B sucks. So I
was about to say that. Plan B sucks.
So don't quit. Don't give up. No matter what. I don't care if, you got all kind of life. Listen, at some point, I'll tell you guys my full story. It does not matter what your life looks like, what people are telling you, what people want you to do, how people want you to live your life. Get the vision that you want to make happen and just laser focus. Like you said, Aja, follow one course until successful. Don't get thrown off track no matter what happens. So that's what I would say to people. Follow plan A. Don't quit.
Don't quit. Plan B sucks. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Big O TV. It was a pleasure having you, and it's been totally epically amazing. I've loved every minute of it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Aja. This was really great. We'll have to do it again.
Most definitely. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And please follow Kenya. Please sign up on her for the Facebook. The Action Minded group is really amazing, and she does some really, really awesome things. And I'll see you on the next Big O TV, happening every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.